What is going on, everybody? It is Aaron Tates. Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be building a set of custom headlights. I know I've done this video before for my Chevy outside, but today we're going to be building some 2006 to 2008 Dodge Ram 15, 25, and 3500 headlights. They're going to have RGB halos in each one. They are Lighting Trends halos. I'll have a link to the exact set I used down below. Make sure to go check them out. First thing you want to do is take your headlight, peel any type of plastic cover off of it. If there's any type of rubber like this, you want to take that off. You want to flip it over, take off these plastics right here. These screws right here are holding it together, so you want to take that screw out. But you just want to check for things like that before you try taking it apart, because that right there will cause plastic to break because it is screwed together, and this could catch on fire in the oven. You don't want anything like that. And while you're taking everything apart on your headlight, you're going to come in and get your oven started. I do the temperature at 250. Get down to 250 and we will click start. Now it's preheating, and then while it's preheating, you can get your headlight ready. Okay, now the oven is completely warmed up to the temperature of 250 degrees. It is ready to put the headlight in. Now, you could easily just take this headlight and probably place it right down there on those oven racks, and it would probably be alright. But I like to be a little bit more cautious. I take a cookie sheet or some type of oven pan, and I take an old towel that you don't really care about too much, that if something happens to it, your wife's not going to kill you, your mom's not going to beat you. Whoever is in this house that cares about this towel is not going to be mad at you. And you want to take your headlight and you want to flip it over face down on the towel. Make sure that no part of this headlight is touching metal or anything, because if that metal gets too hot, it will melt this plastic. And you're going to come down, carefully place it in the oven. And just like the metal, you don't want that headlight touching any part of the inside of this oven. Now you want to shut it and set a timer for 5 minutes. Click start. Okay, now you've got the headlight out. You just pull it out of the oven. It is really hot. You want to let it sit for 30 seconds. Just enough for it to cool down that you can grab it with your hands and it not physically burn you. I'm using a flathead screwdriver, just an old cheap Harbor Freight Pittsburgh flathead. You always want to start on the side closest to the grill. Don't start farther away, because how it is covered is right here. This folds into a crease, and you will not be able to get it out down here. So you have to come over here and start by the grill, start pulling it apart. Okay, if it doesn't start coming apart easily and pulling apart, I don't mean like you just grab it and it pulls apart. It's not going to be that easily, but you shouldn't have to fight with it to the point where you're pulling as hard as you can, because that's when you break something. So if it's not coming apart, like I said, put it back in for 3 minutes. Okay, and just like that, the headlights are apart. So you see, once it got nice and warm, it actually got really easy. You didn't have to fight with it too awful much to get it apart. Now I'm going to walk you through the steps of actually getting ready to put halos in. What you want to do, once you have the headlight completely pulled apart, you have it sitting over on your table, workbench, wherever you're doing this. If you're doing this exact style headlight, it'll have these screws right here holding this turn signal reflector to the black backing, and then the black backing is held to the actual lens itself by these two screws. That is if you're doing this exact headlight, the 06 to 08 Dodge 15, 25, and 3500. Now, if you're doing a different style headlight and you're using this video as a reference on how to build headlights, just check around any spots where you might have to pull it apart. There might be screws. I know in my Silverado there's no screws, it just comes right apart. Just, it all depends on the headlight. Just be cautious. If you pull and it doesn't come apart, just check. Don't keep pulling, you might break something. Just be patient and just check everywhere. Like little places like that for screws, you never know what might be in there. Now once you have everything pulled apart, this is what you should be left with. Just the lens and then this backing right here with the reflector. Now like I said, on my Silverado, you don't have to take anything like this apart. When you pull those headlights apart, the lens itself comes off and you're left with this backing piece and that backing piece right there. So it really just depends on your headlight if you have to pull it apart like this. What we're trying to do is get the halos onto this backing piece right here, and you had to pull it apart from the lens. Set your lens somewhere where it's not going to get scratched or really dirty, somewhere safe, out of the way, because when you have the bulbs themselves inside this headlight and it's all assembled back together and you turn the headlight on, you'll see any type of fine scratches inside of here, fingerprints, anything like that. Always try and clean it before you put it back together, or just be super cautious with it. You don't want to throw it down somewhere and it get cat hair or dog hair or lint, scratches, anything inside of it, because it will show, I guarantee it. But now we have this piece right here. You want to pull out your halos, whether they be Lighting Trends halos, Amazon, eBay, you name it. You want to pull out your halos and just start getting a test fit. So get some type of test fit, see where you would want it, anything like that. Now I'm going to be honest with you guys, I already built the other headlight. The other headlight is outside, the sealant is drying right now. So I already know what exactly I have to do with this headlight before I came out and just started filming blindly. With this one, there's no type of trimming, anything needed. You will need a hot glue gun because the 3M tape on the back does not fit anywhere flat where it will actually hold itself. So you're just gonna be hot gluing it into this. I will be showing that in a second, but I want to jump to a step right here. This halo, or half halo, whatever you want to call it, that goes over here in the turn signal area, it does not fit because it is bumping into right here. You see these wires right here, they kind of come into a bind when you're trying to put this on, and you can't leave it like that. So what you have to do, or you don't have to do, you can leave it look messy if you'd like, but if you're gonna spend all this money to buy halos and headlights and pull them apart, might as well just take this extra 5 minutes to fix this. You want to take a Dremel and Dremel out this section right here. I'll jump to that right now. And just like that, you see right here, I came in and Dremeled out about the size of your fingertip through there. Just try and make it nice and neat, and use a Dremel, some type of cutting tool, anything like that. And as you can see now, this halo fits right here perfectly. So you want to take a rag, wipe down the plastic, get all the grease off of it, get it all cleaned up, and pull this 3M backing, or this release right here off the 3M backing, stick it down right here, and we'll jump over and get into this one. You see we have this one stuck on. We have our other halo right here. You want to come through and take this backing off, stick it in there the best that you can, and you want to flip it over, try and keep a hand on it, that way it's not just falling out. Then you want to take your glue gun, it's been going for a little bit now, so it's nice and warm, and you want to come in, I don't know what you can see, but come in and go right behind it and put some dabs in. While I'm over here, I like to go in and just put a couple dabs on this side halo right here where the turn signal's at. You can see where I did the hot glue, there's still strands. You have to go in and clean that up. You kind of have to wait for the tape to dry just a little bit, or yeah, the tape. You have to wait for the glue to dry a little bit before you can go in and get all of these hot glue strands out. You want to come around to the front and check and make sure you can't see any hot glue peeping through anywhere. Because when people look at these headlights, because they're definitely going to grab attention. When people look at these headlights, you don't want them looking and seeing some glue seeping out down here in the bottom or anything like that. You want them to look clean, almost like these halos are just floating there. Like people have no idea what's actually holding them up. Now we can move on to putting it back together. We have our turn signal reflector that can go right back here, and where you trimmed does not affect it whatsoever. If you're doing a different style headlight, like I said, anything that you took off, just put back on in reverse order. Now we're gonna come over here, grab this lens right here. We're gonna put the 2 screws right here back into the lens. Quick thing before I forget, before you put this back in that lens, if this is the same body style that you're doing, or if your headlight is similar to this and you can't access the entire lens before this is, or after this is on, if you can't access the whole lens after you put this back in, before you put it back in, you want to go through and wipe little things like that piece of plastic I just wiped out. I'm gonna go in with a microfiber and just wipe it down, because that little thing right there was in this lens. If you don't get that out, when it goes back together, you will be able to notice it a whole lot more once the headlight is on. Okay, now that you have the entire lens itself back together, you have the backing in screwed down, you want to get the actual headlight assembly. And you want to find a spot where you can run these wires out the back. You don't want to use your turn signal hole or anything like that, your headlight hole, because you won't be able to fit your bulb in then. Some headlights, like my Silverado's headlights, there's a flat spot in areas like this, but there's not already a hole there, so you just have to get a step bit, a drill bit, anything like that, and drill a hole through. But since this foam piece is already here, all I'm going to do is go through with a screwdriver, a small knife, anything, and poke a hole through that just big enough that you can fit the end of the wires through that hole. And just like that, we have a hole in the headlight assembly where these wires can go through. Okay, our wires are pulled through and our lens is back up top. Remember what I said in the beginning of the video? When you pull the headlight apart, you pull from the grill, where the grill would be at on the headlight, you pull that way back, because the back end has this lip right here that goes over the headlight. When you're reassembling them, you want to put this back end first. Okay, now that you have the whole headlight assembly back together, it's not completely sealed. As you can see, this sealant is still pretty far away from this plastic. There's a big gap all the way around. The reason for that is this sealant is cold. You remember how we had to heat it up to pull it apart? You have to heat it up to put it back together. My oven is already going. It's at 250, but instead, this time, instead of putting it in for 5 minutes, we're just gonna do 3 minutes. What you wanna do with these wires, so they're not just flailing around, you wanna flip your headlight over and take these wires and shove them somewhere where they can't flop around. And just set the headlight in the oven. Make sure it's not touching any sides. Go up and set your timer for 3 minutes. Okay, once the timer goes off and you have your headlight back out, you're gonna pull it over to some flat table that you can work on. It's a workbench, table, whatever. And you wanna start getting all of the clamps, like this clamp right here and this clamp right here, pressed back together. They'll snap. Sometimes they'll make a noise, sometimes they'll just slide back over. There's some right here around the sides. Just get those back over the little parts on the headlight. Once they're all back together, you just want to keep pressing down. If you remember, this headlight had 2 screws right here in the side. We're going to go back in. Okay, once you get the screws back in, come on, focus. All right, you get the 2 screws back in. That's going to help seat down this back, and it's going to pull this headlight back in those channels a whole lot better. I'm going to put this back in the oven for about 2 minutes. Let all this sealant get nice and warm. Let it get seated down in there, and then I'll show you what to do after that. All right, guys, now they're completely all back together. I put it back in since I got these screws in. It is completely seated down. Now I like to take some clear, what type of silicone is this? It's meant for window, door, and trim sealant. It's meant to keep water out of houses. This isn't some automotive sealant, anything like that. This is just normal like household silicone, but it is 100% waterproof. And if it can hold up windows, I think it can do what we want with headlights. Where we made this hole back here in the back, we're gonna fill it in with some silicone. And then we're gonna go completely around the outside of the lens. Any big gaps that we can see, we're gonna fill it with this silicone. This is what it looks like where the wires are coming out. Just kind of looks like a big blob, but that big blob is going to help keep it waterproof right here. Okay, as you can see, I went around and filled in any big gaps that I could see. Now you're thinking, Aaron, you said this was clear, but it came out white. That's gonna look terrible. This silicone cures in a clear. I like to let it sit for at least 24 hours before I put it in a vehicle or I give it to the customer. Just like that, the headlights are finished. You see, the Dodge is gone. I finally got them in for the customer. He loved them. They turned out great. And honestly, building headlights is super easy, guys. If you follow all the steps in this video, you'll build a great set of headlights. Hopefully, I went a lot more in depth with this video this time. I know the last time I did a headlight build, I didn't go very in depth. I kind of rushed it, went right through, and didn't record everything. So if you guys like this video, make sure to go down, drop a like, drop a comment, what you'd like to see, what you'd like to see differently. Make sure to hit the subscribe button. Somewhere down there, there's gonna be a subscribe button. Please don't hit that. Lots of you watch my videos and lots of you are not subscribed. Something super easy, just hit the subscribe button. Join the fam. Look what we got going on. Lots more coming for this truck. More videos coming out this week. We're getting back on schedule. Trying to upload once, maybe twice a week, but at least once a week. Every single week, gonna have a video coming. Lots in store for what's going on this truck behind me. We got tail lights coming. We already got a third brake light, got to put in. I'm gonna wait till I have the tail lights. New rear bumper, new front bumper, new possibly temporary headlights. They're definitely coming, but I don't know if I want to build them or not, or leave them the way they will be when they come in. We're gonna have a new grill, new hood. The truck will be getting wrapped, and I will be doing that myself. So if you guys want to see a truck get wrapped, hit that subscribe button, because we're going to be wrapping this truck within the next month. We're going to be wrapping bumper caps, front and rear. Eventually get some... Okay, well, my neighbors just started shooting. So headlights, taillights, hood, wrap, mirrors, tint. I'm gonna learn how to tint myself. We're gonna do some interior work. Lots in store for this truck just before Daytona Truck Meet this year. So hit the subscribe button. Thank y'all for watching. I will catch you in the next video. See ya.